Hey you guys, it's Dani. So today, I am going to attempt to do something that I've never tried before. So I was watching Sylvia, Tarot Magpie. I am going to have the video because I'm not going to try to explain it because I don't even really know what I'm doing either. I am just trying this out because I thought it was so fascinating and I've never done anything quite like it. Sylvie did mind mapping with a plethora of tarot and oracle cards and kind of grouped and went through each and had connections and created this little mind map. So I've never done anything like this before, especially with tarot. I've done, little map things similar, but this is a completely new concept and I wanted to give it a try and kind of bring you guys along with me. I don't want to try to re-explain it. I don't want to pretend like I know what I'm doing. I'm just experimenting because I thought it was so cool. So if you want to learn more about it, if you want to know how Sylvie has kind of made this process and really go into the detail, just stop right here. Stop. Go watch her video first, and then you could come back and see how I make a mess of mine. I really wanted to do something different. I wanted to not only, use my cards, but try something completely different and take you guys along because I feel like tarot is, and any kind of card reading or anything for that matter, it's got to be a form of play and learning and growing. And I think if we always do the same things we've always done, then we're not going to grow and shift and change. And I think that especially with tarot and oracle and card reading in general, it's so good to kind of challenge yourself and reconnect with these cards and put them in ways that maybe you didn't think of before. So I went ahead and I'm going to assume that you watched it. Okay, so I went ahead and grabbed a whole bunch of cards. So I'm going to try and see what I can do and see how this works and how it feels. And I'm going to take you guys along. So I grabbed a few decks. I grabbed the archetype deck, and I'll link them down below if I can or put what they are. I grabbed the Conjure cards. I grabbed Triumphi della Luna, the illustrated version. I grabbed the Tarot Oracle. And I also grabbed the Somnia Tarot. I kind of wanted a little mixture, an archetype, a playing card style, a tarot, well, two tarots, and an oracle. So I'm going to start here. So let's put this down and we can get started. So not me doing a whole reading and trying the tarot map and then coming back to press stop recording and realize that I didn't press the unpause. I pressed stop recording, and so I didn't record the whole thing. Anyway, luckily I had a great time doing this, and I wanted to do it again anyway, so I guess we're gonna do it again together, only you will get to see it for the first time. Yeah, because I kind of worked out, I say I worked out the kinks. I kind of get the whole mapping process. It really made me sit with these cards and think about them in a different way, so we're gonna kind of recreate that because I would love to try it again to see how to repeat this process, how to sit with the cards in this way. It was very interesting. 10 out of 10 recommending using all different cards for this because of the way that they shift and move and connect and the way that you think of things. So, I'm going to consider this, this was something that I was looking to answer anyway. This was like my daily read and I was just going to do it with you guys. But I'm kind of glad that I did get to do this, and even though you don't get to see this, I'd like to do something just kind of open. That way we can see how it flows just in general, right? For this. So pen and paper, got it. Got my little commonplace notebook. So, all right. Let's, how about let's go with, how do I best finish out my day? We're midday. It's like a midday check-in. What do I need for the rest of my day? We got the warrior right there. Ooh, purposeful action. That really sticks out to me right there. I'm going to kind of jot that down because that is the one thing that just keeps kind of screaming at me. Whatever. That's a brand new pen, by the way. We'll say action. I know what I'm talking about. Purposeful action. Okay. Oh, we got a wild card. Boom. Oh, a Knight of Cups. Oh, we had two pop out. Oh, look, it's our possum. We have surrender and loyalty. All right. Last one. Temperance. Okay. So immediately, I feel like this Knight of Cups and this Temperance, that water, is really holding strong together for me. Seeing all the water in this. Cat doesn't really like the water. Uh-oh. Please don't start acting up on me now. Okay. Hello. Why are we doing that? Okay, that's better. Yeah, let's not talk about her. She's hurt, you guys. She's not hurt, literally. She's just messed up. We had a tear. It's fine. Anyway, cats don't really like water. Makes me feel like there wants to be this kind of like repellent here. Jokers I use for different things. So I want to see what the Conjure deck actually says. So I'm going to grab the guidebook and see what it's going to tell me about the Jokers. The red Joker is the black cat, it says. Is a witch or other conjurer. A person working against you in some way, whether supernatural or not. Black cats take the main stage on the Appalachian imagination when witches are in question. Folks used to say black cats were witches in disguise or that they went about and did their bidding. Stories are also abound of the elusive black panther that prowls the hilltops and the ridges of the mountains. Enemies can be tricky, but the cards know almost all, and it is hard to hide from them. If this card shows up upright, then there is a threat from such a one, whether supernatural or not. Other cards can determine that, such as the Nine of Spades showing witchcraft. Reverse, there's no threat, or the threat doesn't walk the earth. Okay, so we are upright. So there feels like, with this one, there's kind of like a threat to the day. And with that, I feel like in order to ward that off, we need a warrior. right? So that really kind of ties that. Like, in order to change your luck, right? To have this, like, not walk the earth anymore. I feel like this warrior, this purposeful action has to be taken to overcome this joker, right? There is, surrender, loyalty. We have this knight. I also feel like this is usually, what are we surrendering to? Who are we surrendering to? Who are we loyal to? That kind of points back to the Knight of Cups for me. So this purposeful action, I feel like we do have a, let me push this over here and do this right now. Okay. So I feel like this warrior right here, and our black cat, I'm going to put black cat over here. Oops. Banging into stuff. These are connected right here. And I feel like a lot of stuff stems from this Knight of Cups. Like, is this someone or a situation to surrender? Loyal? I mean, a warrior can be loyal, you know? But we're going with that purposeful action with the warrior. Like, what do we need for the rest of our day? In order to wade this off, we need that purposeful action. Okay, let's think about these for a second. Sylvie also suggests looking into the guidebooks and things like that to see what they're saying. So with these two, I kind of want a little bit more. I want to see what the guidebooks are saying. I want to see what else sticks out to me, because I do feel like those two are kind of tied in some kind of way, and I kind of want to see where they may be tied. Now, I'm not an expert at doing this. I'm probably not doing it at all the way that, now that I'm thinking back on it, that she did it. But it's so cool to think about it like this, and I'm trying to kind of connect all the dots. So I'm just kind of throwing everything at a wall and seeing what sticks. I just, going through it the first time and then being able to redo it and kind of refine what I want out of this and make it kind of my own while still keeping that initial idea from her, I think is so interesting. Again, if you haven't watched it, go watch that first and then come back, because you're going to be like, what the hell are you doing? I'm not here to teach it, because I don't know. I'm not teaching. I'm experimenting with these cards. I'm experimenting with this process in using all of this in a way that I don't normally do. This is a form of play, a form of growth. So I really want to explore this. So again, don't miss out. Go watch that first. Come back and watch this. So you can kind of see my thought process and how I'm processing these cards, okay? So I just kind of wanted to reiterate that. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to read what is written about this, because I want to see if anything sticks out to me. So that willingness to be brave really sticks out to me, especially in the sense of, like, when it comes to that black cat, you have to be brave. You have to be willing. There's also the pursuing passion. I love that. I love that idea. This knight seems to hold that purposeful action back to this warrior, right? Okay. I love that. I love that. Okay. So with this temperance, I often think of obviously moderation. I also think about balance. I also think about alchemy. And I want to see what the guidebook says here so that I can get a bit of an idea of if there's anything else that kind of pops out, you know? I have the original book as well as the illustrated copy, but I'm just using the big book for now. It talks about adapting, which really coincides with my idea of alchemy, that kind of adapting. Contentment, purpose. Oh, we have another purpose. Okay, so these kind of tie together with that purpose, you know? That purposeful action, this kind of ties back. There's a purpose to this temperance, right? What are we adapting? So let's see. I want to read a little bit more. Okay, this content, like it also speaks of contentment here, which I think has a lot to do with surrender and loyalty, especially surrender. Like, there's something about surrendering that's really intriguing to me. So now I'm going to kind of go into this. I want to see a little bit more about this possum and what this says. This one especially has a lot in the guidebook for the Tarot Oracle. So I'm going to grab this guidebook and I'm going to kind of read a little bit more about surrender right now, because I feel like, again, these two, like, all of these are kind of meshing together right now. This Knight of Cups seems to be speaking to our Joker right now. And while they all tie together, this is how it's grouping. And then this one's kind of the odd man out of to like, because I thought it was going to be here. While there is connection here, I feel like this is where it's grouping. And then I'll find out about this one. So let's read a little bit more about surrender first, and then see what kind of sparks me. And then we'll go here. And then I'll be able to kind of lay out and kind of map it out a little better. I love his little hands. Oh my God. I love him so much. Okay. Oh, immediately avoiding conflict. Oh. So that kind of ties me back here. This feels like I feel like everything is slowing down, you guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why it keeps doing this to me. But I think it comes back to this black cat, that avoiding that conflict of whatever feels kind of daunting, right? I love that. If it can surrender instead of fight, that's what it will do. I like it. I like that a lot. Okay. So I really do feel, I kind of glanced through the rest. That is really what's coming to the top for me. And, you know, again, it does kind of go in with that Knight of Cups as well, because of, you know, surrendering in, being willing to be brave and put it down, right? We do have a warrior, but the warrior feels more like, again, a purposeful action over a fighter, right? Because we have that surrender that says it's not about fighting. It's about, like, literally, it's like resolve, resilience, clarity, you know, this very fierce clarity. It's not about fighting. It is about surrendering and taking action to resolve the problem and not to fight a problem. So I really like that willingness to be brave. So it does kind of all come back and interconnect. So let's see what this warrior with the Emperor Penguin, let's see what this has to say, because this is the only one where I feel like could be tied here, but right now is really out in the open for me. Okay, so with this one, there's the huddling up, right? Nurturing not only yourself, but those around you. Really going in and like having that commitment to important relationships. And like, I think this sort of bridges the gap between these in a way. Especially like there's the willingness to nurture and be brave. So it does kind of go to that Knight of Cups. Like you have to be brave enough to work on these things. I feel like this Joker is what we're trying to like, again, we were talking about like, what do I need to know for the rest of my day? This ickiness in the background, this kind of uneasy feeling, this kind of darkness that can easily spread and taint everything. I feel like that's where everything is kind of going. Is to try and avoid that. So if we're going to try to avoid this black cat, this is kind of where this sort of comes from. The loyalty and nurturing. I mean, when it comes to purposeful action, this feels like an intent. To come around here, to connect it back here, this almost feels like an intent to kind of restructure the way that you're nurturing into something a little more purposeful, like surrendering where you need to and balancing where you need to, being able to adapt so that it's not ruining your day, like some little small thing or something kind of caught in your craw isn't ruining your whole day, right? I think where a lot of them are kind of tied to this Knight of Cups energy, which just, you know, I'm putting my arrows, like sometimes my arrows are changed. I'm really messy with this. It doesn't really come out looking like something that I would be able to keep, but I don't really need to keep it, right? I can always take this and kind of journal a little bit about it, just because I'm not used to this process just yet. I'm just trying to like orient myself still. But it does seem like a lot of stuff is flowing out from our Knight of Cups. Like what is needed from our Knight of Cups, but also that black cat. But again, the Knight of Cups kind of overshadows that, you know? We're trying to avoid the black cat. We want to go out. We want to avoid that conflict. You know what I mean? This kind of contentment, this adaptation in the Temperance. This aids the warrior. It's connected to the warrior in that way. But that's what the Knight of Cups kind of needs to do. And to be brave enough to do it, right? Even in nurturing, like, I'm trying to connect not only like the concepts and stuff, but I also want to know in what relation they could be to one another. And I feel like everything else is very clear of how it relates to each other. But what about these two? Kind of doing what's right for the greater good almost always will trump something that's not so comfortable, or something that's difficult, or whatever that may be. Whatever hurdle you're trying to get over. I'm going to just consider this our hurdle, right? What we don't want. Our hurdle. I mean, nurturing the things that matter. You know, it all counterbalances that. So yeah, I feel like with this one, after kind of picking apart and moving it along and grouping them up and seeing what it's saying. I really do feel like, all in all, even if you start out having maybe not a super awesome day, there's something kind of underlying. There's something walking and slinking around in the background that just feels really uncomfortable. And at midday right now, how to avoid this, how to change that, how to shift it. We need a purposeful action, right? We need to be brave in what we're doing. We need to pursue good things. Bring in passion, right? Move it forward in a way that will nurture not only ourselves, but those around us. There are certain things that we're trying to achieve and avoid, right? We don't want this to become a battle. We want this to be a purposeful move forward. We want this to be, something that's going to create balance and contentment and have a good day. We don't want to fight. We don't want to fuss. We want to move forward with something good in mind. Like, we even have this little jewel here in the center of the bones here. And it's almost like that third eye, that little treasure in the center. Like, that's what we're really looking for, is that little treasure in the center. But we have to go forward with a better state of mind, with something that's a little more content, that it's not rocky, that it's not combative, right? We need that loyalty there. We need, and in that is that kind of huddling up, that nurturing. We need to nurture that and be brave enough to do it. Even in the face of stuff that feels uncomfortable, we need to make those decisions for joy. We need to make those decisions for contentment and happiness, and to avoid those conflicts. Come in as your knight in shining armor and kind of really reset the situation. So that's kind of what I got out of this. I'm telling you, this is the coolest exercise. If you have not tried anything like this, I would definitely recommend. Like I said, I don't really think I did it right or do it right, but I don't even think that matters. This is so much fun to really kind of super analyze what the cards are trying to say in a different way versus just like, I'm going to place them here and I'm going to da. And like, I'm always connecting dots and going back and forth and stuff like that. But to really do it purposefully with the intent of, let me see what flows together. What's catching my attention? Where does it match up? Or what is it flowing with? I find is so interesting. So I hope that this was something that intrigued you to kind of try this for yourself. And, you know, it's also a really fun way to use a bunch of cards, right? A bunch of different decks, which I am absolutely loving. I think I want to do some more stuff like that. This was so much fun. You guys, let me know if you have, if you've ever tried this, if this is something that you do, if you're familiar with mind mapping, like what, I want to know all your thoughts as well, because I enjoyed the crap out of this. Sylvie, thank you so much for sharing this. I absolutely loved working with my cards this way. So again, you guys, I have Sylvie's information linked down below. I have all of my information if you're looking to book a reading, if you're looking to find my Instagram, my Etsy shop, all that good stuff. It's all going to be linked down below as well. And we will be back very soon. I am sending you all my love. Mwah! Later, Gators.